People around the world are expressing solidarity with the 49 victims of the Orlando shootings in the American state of Florida. The gunman, Omar Mateen, who claimed allegiance to Islamic State, entered a gay nightclub and opened fire with a semi-automatic assault rifle in the United States' worst mass shooting in history.
Oh my God, they're all shooting back and forth.
And at first we thought it was a DJ playing adding little gunshots, 4 shots into the set list, as many DJs do, which they should stop doing that after today for sure, is people just ducking their heads left and right, screaming. I don't remember screaming. I don't even remember breathing. I just remember dragging my best friend down, dragging this girl down who was looking for her sister, and then just slipping in what was already, you can imagine, everything from drinks on the floor to blood.
And we exit the door, and as we exit, a car is pulling in, which was the shooter. It was a war zone. It was a constant shooting, one bullet after a bullet.
I wound up hiding underneath like a car, and then I sat there for a few minutes. I keep hearing gunshots in the distance, but someone kind of limping, asking, help. I think I got shot. Turned out he got shot 3 times.
Once the shooter comes inside, he has a rifle and he starts shooting everywhere. And the lights turn off, and all of a sudden we notice blood all around our shirts. And that's when people started panicking. The people were on the floor. And some people, once we escaped, we noticed some people were held hostages by him.
Our SWAT officers exchanged gunfire with the suspect. The suspect is dead. He appeared to be carrying an assault-type rifle and a handgun.
This was an act of terror and an act of hate. And as Americans, we are united in grief, in outrage, and in resolve to defend our people.
Well, that was President Obama there speaking from the Oval Office in the White House. So what's been the reaction here in Guernsey? Well, let's speak to LGBTQ organisation Liberate, and spokesman Pippa McCathie joins me in the studio this evening. And Pippa, thanks for coming in. First of all, how do you react to an event like this?
It's very hard not to be incredibly angry. It's the one thing that we must try not to be, or not to let that anger take over. My son is gay, and I was one of the people that set Liberate up originally, and we just have to help our members and the people in the LGBTQ community and their families and friends to get through it. Jamie has been contacting me, my son, all day.
What does he think about it?
Well, he said he came across a tweet from a friend of his who said what crushes them most is the fact that this was a place that they thought was a place of safety and a place where they could go and be themselves and, not be subject to any kind of prejudice. And this is the extreme of prejudice, really. I don't think that this man had anything much to do at all with Islamic fundamentalism, ISIS, Daesh, whatever you call them. I think that's just a hook to hang it on. It was a homophobic attack, and that is what it was.
I mean, do you ever sort of question what motivates these people to commit these sort of... I mean, there's a long, dreadful history in this, with shootings in America.
Yeah.
Do you ever sort of think, what motivates people to just pick up a gun and start shooting?
I can't understand. Oh, the fact that guns are so easily available, and the NRA have such enormous influence, and if they could get control of the guns, perhaps this wouldn't happen so often. But you can't get away from the fact that this is what hatred does. And this is one of the things that we set Liberate up for, is to educate and inform and try and combat hatred and prejudice. We're very pleased with the reaction we've had.
What have you made of the reaction of world leaders condemning this, and what have you made from that?
The point of view of this instance,
Yes.
they always do. And they always say that they're going to do, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I have a great admiration for President Obama, who's done more than any other president. But
you're not convinced, are you?
Not entirely, because it needs to be addressed in the education system. This is what Liberate has wanted to do, to educate and inform. And the schools in the island have been incredibly welcoming to us, and we are going into the schools, and we are in contact with faith groups. And it's only by this sort of bottom-up education and informing people that we are going to combat this hatred. But there are lunatics out there, and I don't know. I cannot imagine what that man's mind was doing. My imagination won't go there. I can't.
Is it beyond human comprehension then?
Well, it's beyond my comprehension, beyond human comprehension. I suppose there are human beings that understand where he was at, but no, and it's extremely upsetting for people in the LGBTQ community because they feel threatened. It may be happening in Orlando.
Thousands of miles away.
But you feel immediately, if that had been a Jewish club and I was Jewish, I would feel threatened. It was a gay club and my son is gay and I have a lot of friends who are, part of the LGBTQ community, obviously, as chair of Liberate. And it's very upsetting for them because they feel threatened even at this distance.
How can you heal? How can the community heal from this?
It's by. I was saying to a friend earlier on today, you may be angry, but use that anger in a positive way. Use that anger to keep going and talk to people, but don't do it in a threatening way. Do it in a way that helps them understand. There are people out there who can be very mildly homophobic, purely through ignorance of language. Call people out, call your colleagues out if they use words that are homophobic or sort of unacceptable to the gay community. Say, look, okay, mate, you may not realise this, but that's offensive. Please don't use that word again. These tiny little drips need to go on and on and on. We can never give up. And the anger that we feel can be used in a positive way to help us keep going and keep the strength up to go on informing and educating, and to show that we can't let this kind of thing pull us down. We've got to keep, I'm repeating myself, educating and informing.
Pippa McCathie, many thanks indeed for joining us on BBC Radio Guernsey this week.